Daeho stood in front of the massive glass doors of the Celestial Harmony Academy and took a deep breath. The station world of Praxis 7 stretched out before him in ways that still made his head spin. Buildings floated in the air, connected by bridges of pure light. Ships from 100 different worlds docked at platforms that moved like living things. 3 moons hung in the purple sky, and none of them looked quite real. He adjusted the backpack on his shoulders and walked through the doors. They slid open with a soft hiss, and immediately every head in the entrance hall turned to look at him. Daeho was used to this by now. He had been on Praxis 7 for 3 days, and everywhere he went aliens stared. Some stared with curiosity. Others stared with something that looked a lot like fear. A small alien with blue crystalline skin stood near the entrance. She was holding a datapad close to her chest like a shield. Her large eyes went even wider when she saw Daeho, and she took 2 steps backward. "Hi," Daeho said with a friendly smile. "I'm looking for the registration office. Can you help me?" The crystalline alien made a sound like breaking glass. Her datapad clattered to the floor. She ran. Daeho sighed. "Okay then." He picked up her datapad and set it on a nearby desk, then followed the signs toward registration. The hallway was full of students, and they all moved out of his way. A group of small bird-like aliens pressed themselves against the wall as he passed. Something that looked like a floating jellyfish quickly drifted into a side room. At the registration desk, a tall alien with gray skin and too many fingers looked up from his screen. His face went very still. "Name?" the alien asked. His voice shook just a little. "Daeho Kim. I'm the human exchange student." "Ah, yes. The Deathworlder." The alien typed something very fast. "Your orientation begins in 1 hour. Room 17C. Your living quarters are in Sector 9. Room 304. Here's your schedule and your identification badge." The alien pushed everything across the desk without getting any closer than necessary. "Thanks," Daeho said. He looked at the badge. His photo made him look tired. Under his name it said, "Species Human. Deathworld Origin, Earth. Threat Assessment, Extreme, Handle with Caution." Daeho frowned at the badge. "Does everyone's badge say this?" "No," the alien said. "Just yours. That's going to make it hard to make friends." "That is not my concern." The alien was already looking back at his screen, clearly hoping Daeho would leave. Daeho found room 17C with 20 minutes to spare. Inside, there were already 4 students sitting in chairs that looked nothing like Earth chairs. Each one was shaped for a different type of body. A crystalline alien sat in the front row. She looked similar to the one who had run from him earlier, but her skin was more pink than blue. She was reading something on a data screen. Behind her sat something that looked like a purple octopus with too many eyes. It was very still, watching everything. In the 3rd row, there was a small alien that glowed with soft yellow light. Its light kept changing colors as Daeho entered, flashing from yellow to orange to red. And in the back corner sat an alien with beautiful feathers and a sharp beak. This one sat up very straight, looking proud and important. "Hello," Daeho said to the room. "I'm Daeho. Looks like we're in the same orientation group." The crystalline alien looked up. Her eyes went wide, just like the other one. But she didn't run. She just held her data screen tighter. The purple octopus alien's eyes all focused on Daeho at once. Several of its tentacles twitched. The glowing alien's light went bright red and stayed there. The feathered alien in the back stood up. His feathers rose into a crest on his head. "I am Youngsik of the Keltheran noble house of Skywinds. I do not fear you, human." "Okay," Daeho said. "That's good, I guess. I'm not really trying to scare anyone. My people are warriors," Youngsik continued. "We have hunted dangerous beasts across 3 star systems. A single human does not frighten me." "Cool," Daeho said. He sat down in a chair near the front. The chair didn't really fit his body, but he made it work. "I'm just here to learn, same as everyone else." The crystalline alien made a small sound. You're really from Earth?" "Born and raised," Daeho said. "Seoul, South Korea." "Is it true," she whispered, "that Earth has weather that can kill you?" Daeho thought about this. "I mean, yeah, if you're not careful. We have storms and heat waves and blizzards, but mostly people are fine if they stay inside or dress right." All 4 aliens stared at him. "You choose to live on a planet that tries to kill you?" the purple octopus alien asked. Its voice came from a translator device attached to its body. "It doesn't try to kill us," Daeho said. It's just weather. Every planet has weather, right? My planet has weather that is exactly 22 degrees at all times, the crystalline alien said. With a gentle breeze, always. That sounds nice. And you have creatures on Earth that hunt humans? Young Sik asked. His feathers were still raised, but now he sounded more curious than aggressive. Not really, Deho said. I mean, there are some dangerous animals, but they usually leave people alone. Mostly we're the ones doing the hunting, historically speaking. This made everyone go very quiet. You hunt? The glowing alien asked. Its light was now a nervous green color. Well, I don't personally, Deho said. I get my food from stores like a normal person. But yeah, humans used to hunt. Some still do, for sport or tradition. You hunt for fun? The crystalline alien looked like she might faint. Before Deho could answer, the door opened and a tall alien walked in. This one looked almost human, except for the fact that its skin was a deep purple and it had 4 arms instead of 2. Good morning, students, the alien said. I am Instructor Velkan. Welcome to Celestial Harmony Academy. I see we have, the human. Instructor Velkan looked at Deho for a long moment. Yes, sir, Deho said. I'm Deho. I want to make something clear, Velkan said. This academy has educated students from 1,000 different species over the past 300 years. We have never had an incident. Never. I expect this record to continue. Of course, sir. We have installed additional security measures in your living quarters and in all shared spaces. This is not because we distrust you personally. It is simply protocol for Deathworlders. I understand. Velkan nodded slowly. You will find that many students here have never met a human before. They may be nervous. I ask that you be patient with them as they learn that humans are not the monsters from their stories. We have stories about humans? The glowing alien whispered to the crystalline alien. Bad stories? So many stories, she whispered back. Instructor Velkan began the orientation. He talked about class schedules and safety rules and where to find the cafeteria. He talked about the different species on the station and how to be respectful of their needs. Every few minutes, he would glance at Deho as if checking to make sure he was still sitting calmly and not doing anything dangerous. Deho just took notes and tried to look as friendly and non-threatening as possible. After orientation, the crystalline alien approached him carefully. She stopped about 2 meters away as if that was a safe distance. I'm Hana, she said quietly. I'm from Valora 3. I'm sorry I keep staring. It's just, you're really real. I'm really real, Deho confirmed with a smile. Nice to meet you, Hana. Is it true that humans can lift their own body weight? Yeah, most of us can. Some people can lift a lot more than that. Hana's crystalline skin seemed to go a little paler. That's terrifying, is it? Deho had never really thought about it before. The purple octopus alien approached next, keeping its many eyes on Deho. I am Taman. I study xenobiology. I would very much like to scan you if you would permit it. For science, sure, I guess. Fascinating, Taman said. Your bone density alone is remarkable. And your muscle structure, it's like you're built for constant warfare. I'm really not, Deho said. I just play video games and study history. But you could be, Taman said. That's what's frightening. The glowing alien finally came over, staying even farther back than Hana. I'm Jiwoo. I'm from Plix, please don't hurt me. I'm not going to hurt anyone, Deho said gently. I promise. That's what all the apex predators say in the survival documentaries, Jiwoo said. Its glow was a pale, scared yellow. Deho was starting to realize that his time at Celestial Harmony Academy was going to be very different from high school back on Earth. 2 weeks had passed since Deho arrived at the academy, and things were getting a little better. People still stared at him in the hallways, but at least they stopped running away. Hana now sat only 1 seat away from him in their shared classes instead of across the room. Jiwoo had stopped glowing red every time Deho spoke. Even Taman had stopped asking to take samples of his DNA. Young Sik still acted tough, but Deho noticed that the feathered alien always made sure to know exactly where Deho was in any room. It was the behavior of someone pretending not to be nervous. Today was different, though. Today everyone seemed excited about something. Advanced xenobiology today, Hana said as they walked to class together. She kept a careful distance, but at least she was talking to him now. Professor Kixral is supposed to show us real specimens. Live ones. That sounds interesting, Deho said. It's supposed to be amazing, Hana said. He brings in creatures from all over the galaxy. Dangerous ones. But don't worry, they're behind really strong barriers. Multiple barriers, with guards. Lots of guards. Why would I be worried? Deho asked. Hana looked at him with her large crystalline eyes. Because some of the creatures he shows are considered very dangerous. Threat level 7 or 8. What threat level am I? Deho asked. Threat level 9, Hana said quietly. But you're nice, so I think they got your number wrong. Deho wasn't sure how to feel about that. The xenobiology classroom was bigger than their other rooms. The front half was filled with seats, and the back half was separated by a thick wall of clear material that looked stronger than any glass Deho had ever seen. Behind this barrier was a large open space with different environmental controls visible in the ceiling. Professor Kixral stood at the front of the room. He was tall and thin, with skin that looked like tree bark and eyes that glowed a soft green. He was apparently from one of the oldest species in the galaxy, known for their scientific knowledge. Welcome, students, Kixral said. His voice was deep and calm. Today we will observe some of the galaxy's most impressive predators. This is not just about fear or danger. This is about understanding the incredible diversity of survival strategies that evolution has created. The students settled into their seats. Deho noticed that several security guards stood along the walls. They were from different species, all wearing armor and carrying weapons that hummed with energy. We will start with something relatively simple, Kixral said. He pressed a button on his control panel, and a small door opened in the back area. Something that looked like a cross between a wolf and a lizard walked out. It was about the size of a large dog, with scales that shimmered in the light. This is a carven stalker from Theta 9, the professor said. Notice the thermal-sensitive pits along its snout. It can detect body heat from 50 meters away. Its bite force is sufficient to crack most standard hull materials. The creature paced back and forth behind the barrier. Several students leaned forward to get a better look. Deho took notes and watched with interest. It moved like a predator, efficient and alert. Threat level 4. Taemin whispered to Deho. Very dangerous to most species. It looks kind of like the dogs we have back home, Deho said. Bigger and scalier, but similar movement patterns. Taemin's eyes went wide. You have these on Earth? No, just regular dogs. They're actually friendly. We keep them as pets. You keep predators as pets? They're not really predators anymore. We domesticated them thousands of years ago. Taemin made a note on his datapad. Deho saw him write, humans keep neutered predators in homes. Question why? Professor Kixral brought out several more creatures over the next hour. A flying thing with acid spit. A huge insect that could camouflage perfectly with any background. Something that looked like a living shadow that could drain heat from its prey. Each one was impressive. Each one made the other students gasp or shrink back in their seats. The security guards watched everything carefully, their hands never far from their weapons. Deho found it all fascinating. He had grown up watching nature documentaries, and this was like the best nature documentary ever. Real alien predators showing off their incredible adaptations. And now, Professor Kixral said, we come to our final specimen. I must warn you, this is one of the Galactic 10. These are the 10 most dangerous natural predators known to our civilization. Each one has claimed entire colonies. Each one has a perfect hunting record once they select prey. The room went very quiet. What we have here, Kixral continued, is considered by many to be the apex predator. We have taken extensive precautions. The containment field is rated for threat level 10. We have 5 different security teams present, and the creature has been sedated for transport. Jiwoo's glow went very dim and small. Youngsik's feathers were flat against his head. Even Hana was gripping her datapad with both hands. Students, I present to you, the Vex Stalker of Regulus 9. A large containment unit rolled into the back area. It was made of dark metal with energy shields visible around it. Through the transparent front, Deho could see something moving inside. Professor Kixral pressed several buttons in a specific sequence. I am now reducing the sedation and opening the containment unit. Please remain calm and quiet. Sudden movements or loud sounds can trigger its hunting instinct. The front of the containment unit opened slowly. What came out made half the class gasp. The Vex Stalker was about 3 meters long, low to the ground like a big cat but built much heavier. Its body was covered in armor that looked like black glass, smooth and gleaming. 6 eyes were arranged around its head, each one glowing a deep red. Its mouth held rows of teeth that looked more like crystal shards than anything organic. "Note the sensory organs," Professor Kixral said quietly, as if speaking in a library. "The Vex Stalker has 6 different methods of detecting prey: heat signature, electromagnetic fields, movement, chemical traces, sound, and something we still don't fully understand that may be a form of quantum sensing." The creature moved into the open area behind the barrier. Its armor made soft clicking sounds as it walked. Those 6 red eyes looked around the room, seeming to evaluate everything and everyone. "Its armor is nearly impervious to conventional weapons," the professor continued. "Plasma fire only irritates it. Kinetic weapons bounce off. It produces a molecular acid in specialized glands that can dissolve most known materials. And it is highly intelligent, with problem-solving abilities that rival many sentient species." Deho watched the creature carefully. He had to admit it was impressive. Beautiful in the way that apex predators often were. Perfectly designed for its purpose. "How fast can it move?" Young-Sik asked. He was trying to sound brave, but his voice was tight. "It can accelerate from standstill to 60 kilometers per hour in under 2 seconds, Kixral said, "and it can maintain high speeds for hours. It is essentially a persistence hunter." Deho felt several students look at him when the professor said persistence hunter. That was the term often used to describe human hunting strategies. "Are the barriers really safe?" Hana asked. Her voice was very small. "Absolutely," Professor Kixral assured her. "The barrier you see is actually 5 different barriers layered together. Energy shields, reinforced transparent alloy, gravitic containment, and 2 others I cannot disclose for security reasons. A Vex Stalker has never broken through these defenses." "Never?" Jiwoo asked hopefully. "Never," the professor confirmed. As if responding to this, the Vex Stalker turned its 6 eyes directly toward the class. It opened its mouth slightly, showing those crystal-like teeth. A soft hissing sound came from it. "It's evaluating us," Taemin said quietly, his tentacles curling close to his body, deciding which one it would hunt first. "It cannot reach you," Kixral said. "You are perfectly safe. This is why we study these creatures here, under controlled conditions, so we can understand them without risking lives." The Vex Stalker began to pace along the barrier. Its movements were smooth and controlled. Patient. Several students leaned back in their seats as it passed in front of them, even though there were multiple barriers in the way. Deho leaned forward instead, getting a better look. The creature's armor caught the light in interesting ways. He could see the segments where it would need to flex for movement. Those were probably the weak points, if there were any weak points. The Vex Stalker stopped pacing. All 6 of its eyes focused on something. On Deho. The creature moved closer to the barrier, right in front of where Deho sat. It lowered its head slightly, those red eyes studying him intensely. "Interesting," Professor Kixral said. "It seems to have noticed our human student. Vex Stalkers have excellent threat assessment capabilities. It may be trying to determine whether Deho is prey or competitor." "What's the difference?" Hana whispered. "Prey it hunts," Taemin said. "Competitors it avoids." Young-Sik laughed, a nervous sound. "Surely it cannot think a human is a competitor. Even a Deathworlder cannot match a Vex Stalker." The creature tilted its head, still staring at Deho. Its mouth opened wider, and that hissing sound came again. Louder this time. Is it threatening him?" Jiwoo asked. "I believe it is," Professor Kixral said. He sounded fascinated. "I have never seen this behavior before. It only does this with other apex predators." Deho stared back at the Vex Stalker. The lights flickered once, twice. Then the entire room went dark for 3 full seconds. When the lights came back on, they were dimmer. Emergency lighting, and the gentle hum of the containment barriers was gone. For a moment, nobody moved. The Vex Stalker stood perfectly still behind what should have been 5 layers of protection. Everyone in the classroom stared at the barriers, hoping to see that shimmer of energy that meant the shields were active. There was no shimmer. "No," Professor Kixral said quietly. Then louder. "No, no, no," he stabbed at his control panel. Nothing happened. He pressed more buttons, his hands moving faster. "The barriers are down. All of them." How is that even possible? One of the security guards spoke into a communication device. Command, we have a containment failure in Xenobiology Lab 7. Priority Alpha. All barriers are offline. Repeat, we have a live Vex Stalker with no containment. The Vex Stalker took one step forward. The clear wall that had separated it from the classroom was still there, but it was just a wall now. No energy fields. No protection beyond simple transparent material that the professor had already said wouldn't stop this creature. Everyone moved to the exits, Professor Kixral said. His voice was trying to sound calm but failing. Slowly, no sudden movements. The wall will hold for a few minutes at least. The students began to stand up. Several of them were shaking. Jiwoo's glow was flickering like a dying light bulb. Young Six's feathers stood straight up in alarm. The Vex Stalker tilted its head, watching the movement. All 6 of its red eyes tracked the students as they began to move toward the doors. Then one student panicked. A small orange alien that Daeho didn't know ran for the exit. The sudden quick movement made the Vex Stalker react instantly. It lunged at the transparent wall with shocking speed. The wall cracked, not much. Just a small split in the material like a crack in ice. But it was enough. It's going to break through, one of the guards said. He raised his weapon. We need to evacuate now. Weapons will only make it angry, Professor Kixral said. We need to get the barriers back online. Someone check the power systems. This has to be a system failure. Daeho looked around the room. Young Sik was near the control panel, and he was backing away from it with his feathers pressed flat against his body. His eyes were wide with guilt and fear. What did you do? Daeho asked him. I was trying to impress everyone, Young Sik said. His voice was shaking. I thought I could access the control systems. My people are known for their technical skills. I wanted to show that I was clever enough to. But something went wrong. The security protocols locked me out and everything shut down. You sabotaged the barriers? Taemin said. His tentacles were curled so tight around himself that he looked half his normal size. I didn't mean to, Young Sik said. I was just trying to. The Vex Stalker hit the wall again. The crack grew larger. Small pieces of transparent material fell to the floor. Everybody out, Professor Kixral shouted. Guards, prepare to. The Vex Stalker hit the wall a third time, and this time its claws found the crack. It began to tear at the opening, widening it. Those crystal-sharp teeth bit into the material, and the molecular acid from its mouth started to dissolve the edges. The students stampeded toward the exits. The doors couldn't open fast enough. Everyone was pushing and shoving, fear overriding any sense of order. Daeho saw Jiwoo get pushed aside in the chaos. The small glowing alien tumbled away from the crowd and ended up in the corner of the room, its light flickering in panic. The Vex Stalker's head pushed through the crack in the wall. Its shoulders followed. The barrier that was supposed to be impenetrable was coming apart like wet paper. The security guards opened fire. Energy weapons struck the creature's armor, and just as Professor Kixral had warned, the shots did nothing except make bright sparks. The Vex Stalker ignored the weapons entirely. It was through the wall now, in the classroom. Between the students and the exits, everyone screamed. The pushing at the doors became desperate. Professor Kixral was shouting instructions that nobody could hear over the panic. The Vex Stalker's 6 eyes swept the room. It was analyzing the situation, deciding what to do. Those eyes passed over the large group at the doors, over the guards with their useless weapons, over Young Sik frozen near the control panel. Then all 6 eyes locked onto Jiwoo in the corner, the smallest, the most vulnerable, the most obviously frightened classic predator behavior. Daeho thought distantly. Target the weak one that separated from the herd. The Vex Stalker began to move toward Jiwoo. Not rushing. Walking with that patient, confident pace of a predator that knows its prey cannot escape. Jiwoo's light was flickering so fast it was almost strobing. The small alien pressed itself into the corner, making itself as small as possible. Its translator device made a sound like crying. The guards tried to get between the creature and Jiwoo, but the Vex Stalker was faster. It moved around them easily, its body low to the ground. One guard fired again, and the creature's tail lashed out, knocking the weapon away. Daeho watched this happen in what felt like slow motion. His mind was working fast, processing information. Everyone else in the room was either running or frozen in fear. The guards couldn't stop it. Jiwoo was going to die in the next few seconds unless something changed, so Daeho stood up and walked forward, not running. Not charging, just walking, steady and purposeful, directly toward the most dangerous predator in the known galaxy. "Daeho, what are you doing?" Hana screamed from near the door. "Get back," Professor Kixrel shouted. "That's suicide." Daeho ignored them. He kept walking until he was between the Vex Stalker and Jiwoo. The creature had been 3 meters from its target. Now Daeho stood in the way. "Hey, buddy," Daeho said. His voice was calm and steady. "Let's not do this." The Vex Stalker stopped. All 6 of its eyes focused on this new obstacle. This human who had just stepped directly into its hunting path. The room went silent except for the emergency alarm still blaring in the distance. "Move," one of the guards shouted at Daeho. "Move now." But Daeho didn't move. He stood his ground, maintaining eye contact with the creature. Behind him, Jiwoo was still pressed into the corner, its light now dim with shock. The Vex Stalker took 1 step closer to Daeho, then another. It was close enough now that Daeho could see the details of its armor, the way the segments overlapped, close enough to see its breath misting in the air, close enough to smell it, a strange mix of ozone and something metallic. "He's going to die," someone whispered. "Why isn't he running?" another voice said. Daeho kept his breathing steady. He could feel his heart beating faster, adrenaline flooding his system, but he didn't let it show. He had grown up hiking in mountains where bears lived. He had been taught what to do when you encountered a predator. Don't run, don't show fear, make yourself look bigger, and back away slowly if possible. But he couldn't back away. Jiwoo was right behind him. The Vex Stalker opened its mouth wider. Those crystal teeth caught the emergency lights. A hissing sound came from deep in its throat, and Daeho could see the molecular acid dripping from its teeth, burning small holes in the floor. "Easy," Daeho said softly. "You're scared and confused, I get it. New place, lots of noise, everyone's panicking. That's stressful for you too." The creature tilted its head. Its eyes were still locked on Daeho, but now there was something different in its posture. It was studying him more carefully. "It's analyzing him," Taemin said from somewhere behind Daeho. "It's trying to figure out what he is." Professor Kixrel was watching with the intensity of a scientist seeing something unprecedented. "Its threat assessment systems are working overtime. Look at how it's scanning him. It's never encountered a human before." Young Sik's voice came out small and scared. "What is it seeing?" "Everything," Kixrel said. "The bone density that's 3 times what it should be for a creature that size. The muscle structure that suggests incredible endurance. The cardiovascular system of a pursuit predator. The forward-facing eyes of a hunter. The lack of obvious defensive features which paradoxically suggests a species that doesn't need them." The Vex Stalker took another step closer. It was less than a meter from Daeho now. At this distance, 1 strike would be lethal to almost any species in the galaxy. Daeho didn't flinch. His body was tense, ready to react if needed, but he kept his face calm. He even smiled slightly. "I'm not going to hurt you," he said. "But I'm not going to let you hurt my friend either." The creature's eyes flickered between Daeho and Jiwoo. It was making a decision. Prey or competitor. Hunt or avoid. Daeho could see the exact moment something changed in the Vex Stalker's eyes. Some calculation completed. Some instinct kicked in. The creature took a step backward. "It's backing off," a guard said in disbelief. "A Vex Stalker is backing off?" The creature took another step back, then another. Its eyes never left Daeho, but it was definitely retreating. Not running. Not frightened exactly, but recognizing that this was not a fight it wanted. "Impossible," Professor Kixrel breathed. "In 300 years of studying these creatures, I have never seen one retreat from anything." Daeho slowly knelt down, making himself smaller. He kept his movements slow and non-threatening. "See, nobody needs to get hurt here. You're okay. We're okay." The Vex Stalker watched him kneel, its head tilted again. The Vex Stalker moved back through the broken wall, but it didn't go far. It positioned itself in the corner of the containment area, its 6 eyes still fixed on Daeho. The creature's body language had completely changed. Its armor plates were slightly raised, a defensive posture rather than an aggressive one. Daeho stood up slowly, keeping his movements smooth and predictable. Behind him, Jiwoo was still huddled in the corner, its glow so dim it was almost invisible. "Hey, Jiwoo," Daeho said without turning around. "You okay back there?" A small voice came from the translator device. "I thought I was going to die." "You're safe now," Daeho said. "Can you move? Can you walk to the door? I think so. Good, go slow. Don't run. Just walk normally to where Hana is. Jiwoo slowly uncurled itself and began moving along the wall toward the exit. The Vex Stalker's eyes tracked the movement, but the creature didn't move from its defensive position. It was still watching Daeho like he was the real threat in the room. Professor Kixral was staring at Daeho with the expression of someone whose entire understanding of the universe had just been shaken. How did you do that? Do what? Daeho asked. He was still watching the Vex Stalker, making sure it stayed calm. A Vex Stalker had selected prey. They never abandon a hunt once prey is selected, never. And yet it retreated from you. It's treating you like another apex predator, Taemin finished. His tentacles were slowly uncurling as he realized the danger had passed. It sees him as competition, not prey. But that should be impossible. Humans are threat level 9. Vex Stalkers are threat level 10. Maybe the threat levels are wrong, Hana said quietly. She was still near the door, but she was watching Daeho with new eyes. Everyone was Young-sik spoke up, his voice full of shame. I'm sorry. This is my fault. I was trying to impress everyone by hacking the system and I broke everything instead. I could have gotten everyone killed. We'll deal with that later, Professor Kixral said, though his eyes never left Daeho and the Vex Stalker. Right now we need to get containment back online before anything else happens. One of the security guards spoke into his communication device. Status update. The Vex Stalker is contained. Sort of, it's not attacking. The human student somehow. I don't know how to explain this in my report. Try. A voice crackled back through the device. The human faced down the Vex Stalker and it backed off. Sir, I know how that sounds, but I watched it happen. We all did. There was a long pause from the other end. Containment teams are on their way. Keep everyone away from the creature until we restore the barriers. Daeho was still standing between the classroom and the creature. The Vex Stalker hadn't taken its eyes off him. It was the strangest standoff, neither aggressive nor passive. Just two predators acknowledging each other's space, and then Daeho laughed. It wasn't a nervous laugh or a scared laugh. It was genuine, warm amusement. The sound echoed in the quiet classroom and everyone stared at him like he had gone insane. What is so funny? Professor Kixral asked carefully, as if worried that the stress had broken Daeho's mind. Daeho pointed at the Vex Stalker, still chuckling. Sorry, it's just, you're basically a big armored cat, aren't you? The room was silent except for Daeho's laughter. A cat? Taemin repeated. What is a cat? They're these small predators we have on Earth, Daeho explained, his smile still wide. They hunt smaller animals. Very efficient killers, actually, and they have this exact same attitude. He gestured at the Vex Stalker. The way you're watching me right now, trying to figure out if I'm a threat. The way you backed into that corner in a defensive position. The way your body is all tense but you're not attacking. My roommate had a cat back in Seoul that did the exact same thing when it met my dog. You're comparing the most dangerous predator in the galaxy to a small Earth animal? Young-sik asked in disbelief. I mean, bigger and scarier, obviously, and way more sharp, but yeah, same energy. Daeho took a small step forward and the Vex Stalker's eyes all focused on him intently. See, just like a cat. Very aware of personal space. Professor Kixral was frantically taking notes on his datapad. This is incredible. The human has identified behavioral parallels between his homeworld's fauna and one of our galaxy's apex predators. It suggests that predator behavior may be more universal than we thought. Daeho took another small step toward the broken wall. The Vex Stalker tensed but didn't move. Daeho slowly extended his hand again, palm out, keeping his movements gentle and unthreatening. Hey there, he said softly, as if talking to a scared animal. I know you're confused. This isn't your home. All these bright lights and strange sounds. It's okay to be defensive. That's smart. The Vex Stalker's head tilted slightly. Its 6 eyes were studying Daeho's hand with intense focus. Is he trying to pet it? Hana whispered. Please tell me he's not trying to pet the murder machine. I think he might be, Taemin whispered back. What if it bites his hand off? Jiwoo asked, its glow starting to return now that it was safely near the door. Then we'll find out exactly how humans react to losing body parts, Young-sik said. Despite his attempt at dark humor, he sounded worried. But Daeho wasn't trying to touch the creature. He was just showing it that he meant no harm. That hand position, palm out, fingers relaxed, moving slowly, was how you approached any nervous animal. Dogs, cats, horses, even wild animals if you were very careful and very lucky. Look at you. Daeho continued in that same gentle voice. You're actually beautiful, you know that? All that armor. Those eyes. You're perfectly designed. Evolution did an amazing job with you. The Vex Stalker's mouth opened slightly. That hissing sound came again, but softer this time. Less threatening. More like curiosity. Is it calming down? One of the guards asked. Professor Kixral was watching the creature's body language with expert eyes. The defensive posture is relaxing. The armor plates are lowering. The acid production has stopped. See how the dripping has ceased. I don't even have words for this. It's treating him like a non-threat. More than that, Taemin said. Look at its eyes. The way they keep coming back to his face. It's not just seeing him as neutral. It's interested in him. Daeho slowly lowered his hand and took a step back, giving the creature more space. There you go, see? Nobody's going to hurt you. You're just going to stay right there, nice and calm, until the nice people fix the barriers. Then you can go back to your habitat and rest. This has been a stressful day for all of us. The Vex Stalker watched him move away. It didn't follow. It just stayed in its corner, eyes tracking Daeho's movement but not showing any sign of aggression. You know what the funny thing is? Daeho said, turning to address the class while still keeping the creature in his peripheral vision. We had a saying back on Earth. Fear makes anything dangerous. That creature isn't attacking because it's not scared anymore. It was scared when everyone was screaming and running and firing weapons. But now it's calm. It's calm because you're here, Professor Kixral said quietly. It recognizes you as something to respect, not something to hunt. The question is, what exactly is it sensing from you that creates that response? A team of technicians burst through the door carrying equipment. They stopped short when they saw the scene. A human standing calmly a few meters from a Vex Stalker that was sitting quietly in the corner. What's the situation? The team leader asked. The situation is stable, Professor Kixral said. Thanks to our human student. Get the barriers back online as quickly as possible. And document everything. This behavior will rewrite decades of xenobiology research. The technicians got to work on the power systems and control panels. Young-Sik helped them, trying to make up for his earlier mistake. Within minutes, the emergency lights were replaced by normal lighting, and the soft hum of containment barriers filled the air. The energy fields flickered to life one by one, layer after layer of protection sliding back into place between the classroom and the containment area. The Vex Stalker was safely contained again, but the creature's eyes never left Daeho. Even through the barriers, even as the technicians tested the systems and confirmed everything was working, those 6 red eyes stayed focused on the human who had somehow made the impossible happen. Daeho smiled at it. Take care of yourself, big guy. Sorry about all the excitement. The Vex Stalker tilted its head one more time, then finally looked away. It walked deeper into the containment area and settled into a resting position, curling its tail around itself, just like a cat finding a comfortable spot. Daeho laughed again at the similarity, and this time a few other students nervously laughed with him. The tension in the room finally broke. Class dismissed, Professor Kixral said, though he was already reviewing footage of the incident on his datapad. Everyone except Daeho. I need to speak with you. And Young-Sik, you're coming too. We have a lot to discuss about unauthorized access to security systems. The other students filed out quickly, all of them giving Daeho long looks. Hana paused at the door. Thank you for saving Jiwoo. Anyone would have done it, Daeho said. No, Hana said firmly. They wouldn't have, because anyone else would have died trying. She left before he could respond. Taemin was the last to leave. I need to scan you again, with better equipment this time. The news spread faster than Daeho could have imagined. By that evening, everyone at the academy knew what had happened. By the next morning, the story had reached the station's news networks. By the end of the week, it was being discussed on academic forums across 36 systems. Human student confronts Vex Stalker and lives was the most common headline. Some added makes it retreat, which made it sound even more unbelievable. A few of the more dramatic news outlets went with Deathworlder proves why Earth is classified as extreme danger level. Daeho tried to ignore it all, but that was impossible when students kept stopping him in the hallways to stare. At least they weren't running away anymore. Now they just looked at him with a mixture of awe and confusion. On the 3rd day after the incident, Dean Sujin called him to her office. The dean was from a species called the Harmonics. She looked almost like a human woman, but her skin had a subtle glow and her eyes were solid gold. She was old, over 300 years old according to the Academy records, and was considered one of the wisest administrators in the sector. "Sit down, Deho," she said when he entered her office. Her voice was calm and warm. "Don't worry, you're not in trouble. I wanted to talk to you about what happened." Deho sat in the chair across from her desk. It was actually designed for humans this time, which was nice. "How are you doing?" Sujin asked. "It's not every day someone faces down certain death." "I'm okay," Deho said. "Honestly, everyone's making a bigger deal out of it than it needs to be. I just did what seemed right in the moment." "That's what I wanted to discuss," Sujin said. She leaned forward slightly. "You've watched the security footage?" "No, actually. You should. Professor Kixral has been studying it obsessively. He's identified at least 17 moments where the Vex Stalker could have killed you. 17 separate instances where you were within striking distance of the galaxy's most efficient killer, and it chose not to attack." She paused. "Can you explain to me how you knew it wouldn't?" "I didn't know for sure," Deho admitted. "But I've grown up around animals my whole life. My grandmother lived in the countryside and she taught me about reading animal behavior. The basics are usually the same. Watch their body language, don't show fear, respect their space. You applied techniques for handling Earth animals to a Vex Stalker. It sounds stupid when you put it that way." "On the contrary," Sujin said with a slight smile. "It's brilliant. It suggests that predator behavior may be more universal than we ever realized. But there's something else." She pulled up a holographic display showing data. When the Vex Stalker's sensory readings were analyzed, they showed something interesting. It was reading your biochemistry. Your muscle density, your bone structure, your heart rate, even your pheromones. "Okay." "Deho, the creature's threat assessment system concluded that you were more dangerous than it was." Deho blinked. "That can't be right. The data doesn't lie." "From the Vex Stalker's perspective, you registered as an apex predator from an even more dangerous environment than its own. When it analyzed you, it found markers of a persistence hunter with pack hunting instincts. High intelligence, tool-using capability, and most importantly, no natural fear response to other predators. But I was scared," Deho said. "My heart was racing." "Your heart was racing because you were preparing for action, not because you were preparing to run. There's a difference, and the creature sensed it. You were in a combat-ready state, not a flight state. To the Vex Stalker, that meant you were a threat, not prey." Sujin dismissed the hologram and looked at Deho directly. "Do you understand what this means? For thousands of years, we've classified worlds by their danger levels. Earth is classified as an extreme death world. We thought that meant humans would be dangerous, but we didn't really understand what that meant until now. What does it mean? It means that humans evolved in an environment so hostile that even the galaxy's worst predators recognize you as dangerous. It means the reason Deathworlders are so feared isn't just because you can survive harsh conditions. It's because you evolved to thrive in those conditions. You're not survivors. You're competitors." Deho didn't know what to say to that. "I'm telling you this," Sujin continued, "because things are going to change for you here, and for other humans who come after you. The way people see your species is shifting. You've proven something important. What's that? That strength can be gentle. That danger can protect. That the scariest creatures in the universe might actually be the safest ones to stand beside." Over the following weeks, Deho saw exactly what the Dean meant. Jiwoo started following him everywhere. The small glowing alien had apparently decided that the safest place in the academy was within 5 meters of Deho. At first it was awkward, but Deho got used to having a small glowing shadow. "Do you mind if I walk with you to class?" Jiwoo would ask every day. "You know you don't have to ask every time," Deho told him. "I know. But my people believe in polite repetition. It shows respect." Hana slowly became more comfortable around him too. One day she actually sat next to him in the cafeteria, only flinching slightly when he moved too quickly. "Can I ask you something?" she said while they ate lunch. "Sure." "Why did you step in front of that creature? You could have run like everyone else." Jiwoo needed help. "But you barely knew them. You'd only been at the academy for 2 weeks. Deho thought about this. On Earth we have a saying, "A society grows great when old men plant trees whose shade they'll never sit in." It means you help people, not because you'll get something from it, but because it's the right thing to do. Jiwoo needed help, so I helped. It's that simple. Hana was quiet for a moment. Then she said, Your people must be very good. We're not perfect. We have our problems. But yeah, most of us try to be good. Taemin requested to do a full study on human biology and psychology. Taeho agreed, and spent several afternoons letting Taemin scan him with various devices. Fascinating, Taemin would say constantly. Your pain tolerance is off the charts. Your endurance capacity is extraordinary. Your pattern recognition is superior to most species. And your ability to bond emotionally with other species is unprecedented. The emotional bonding thing is probably why we domesticated so many animals, Taeho said. We just really like making friends with things. Even things that could kill you? Especially things that could kill us. Have you heard about dogs? We took wolves, apex predators, and turned them into our best friends. Thousands of years ago, we've been doing this forever. Taemin made extensive notes on this. His research paper on human psychology became one of the most downloaded academic papers in the sector. Even young Sik changed. After serving his punishment for the security breach, which included community service and extra coursework, he approached Taeho with his feathers lowered in a gesture of humility. I wanted to apologize, young Sik said, not just for breaking the barriers, but for acting like I was braver than you, for pretending I wasn't scared of you. I am, but I'm starting to understand that being strong doesn't mean you have to hurt people. I appreciate that, Taeho said. And for what it's worth, your people's reputation as warriors isn't about not being scared. It's about being brave even when you are scared. That's real courage. Young Sik's feathers raised slightly at that, a sign of pride. Thank you. The biggest change came in Professor Kixral's class. The Vex Stalker was still there, in its containment area with every possible security measure active. But now whenever Taeho entered the classroom, the creature would move to the front of its area and watch him. It's not aggressive, Professor Kixral explained to the class during one session. It appears to have formed what we might call recognition. It remembers the human, and based on its behavior it's chosen to regard him as what we might call a respected rival, rather than prey or threat. Does that mean it likes him? Hana asked. I wouldn't say likes exactly, but there's definitely a connection there. Vex Stalkers are highly intelligent. They remember individuals who've proven themselves capable. It's fascinating. Taeho would sometimes stay after class to look at the creature. It would look back, those 6 red eyes steady and calm. Neither aggressive nor friendly, just acknowledgement between 2 predators. Do you ever regret it? Professor Kixral asked him one day after class. Putting yourself in danger like that? No, Taeho said. Jiwoo is alive. That's what matters. You know that other human students will be arriving next semester? 5 more have been accepted to the academy. That's great. They'll have an easier time than you did thanks to what you've done. You've shown everyone here that humans aren't just dangerous. You're protective, empathetic, willing to put yourself at risk for others. Professor Kixral smiled. You've changed how this whole sector views your species. I just did what anyone would do. But that's exactly the point. To you, it was what anyone would do. To everyone else here, it was the act of a hero. The semester continued, and Taeho fell into a comfortable routine. He went to classes, studied with Hana and Taemin, ate lunch with Jiwoo hovering nearby, and occasionally had deep philosophical discussions with young Sik about the nature of courage and strength. One day in the cafeteria, something happened that would become another famous story.